Good time to begin. So yes, I welcome you all to the storytelling session today once again. So to begin with, I think I will ask a question to all of you. So if I ask you, what is the earliest memory of a story that you have? What would you tell me? I'm taking responses, verbal and also on the chat box, please. What's the earliest memory you have of a story?
Bedtime stories.
Sorry?
Bedtime stories.
Bedtime stories, yes.
By grandfather, fathers, mothers.
Lovely. Any more experiences you all can recall? Can I have a few more responses from you?
People have dropped a message in the chat box.
Yes, I'm checking it. 7 fishes story, okay. Very nice. Okay. So people have a thirsty crow story. You have already started telling stories to your children. Very nice, very nice. So, well, any memories of films? You bunk college and watch films and things like that? Anybody? Any naughty memories you have? Nobody?
Yes. During my graduation, one day we have bunked the college, and for the first show, we went to Parugu movie.
Very nice, beautiful. So
all the
all of
girls
us,
of the class.
yeah, very nice to hear that. So what makes stories very interesting? Because when I said earliest memories, all of you still remember 7 fishes, thirsty crow, bunking colleges, Parugu and all of that. So tell me what makes stories very interesting?
First
The
experiences.
moments, importantly the moments, and
Okay.
what are the applicants or co-applicants with us actually in that part.
Right. So let me ask a question from, you said grandmother's stories, mom and dad used to tell us stories. So why do you think stories have been in use from a very long time? And why do they use stories to usually, narrate to children? Why are stories special, you think?
Because it creates some special interest skill.
It creates special interest, lovely. And somebody said imagination, easy to visualize, to imbibe values. Wow. More responses?
Actually,
yeah.
it actually keeps up the curiosity to know what.
Awesome. It makes the listener curious, conveying the concept in a better way, can make concepts clear. Right, very nice. They inspire. All right, so I thought I'll, narrate a quick story to all of you today. So there was this little naughty boy, just a second. There was this little naughty boy who always used to bunk school, who would not study well, who would score zeros in exams, and mom was very angry with him, right? So she started hitting the boy, and the boy started crying. Then grandmom stepped in. She wanted to calm the boy, so she took the boy out for a walk, and then started talking, chit-chatting. They were walking, and they found somebody on the street, right? So then grandmom stops there and tells the boy something. Don't you want to make the world a better place for people like them? Don't you want to make life easy for people? And the boy starts thinking, right? So here, mom hitting and grandmom telling him a story, helping him to understand what education will lead you to, right? So there's a clear difference. So now please do not ask me questions on parenting. I'm not an expert parenting trainer. The only moral I'm trying to withdraw from this story is that whatever all of you said, adding on a little bit to just that, I think stories speak to you emotionally. They engage you emotionally. And that's the reason for all the curiosity. You want to agree with me? You want to agree with this statement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If you're not responding in the session, please mute yourself. Right. So stories engage us emotionally. That's the prime reason why stories have been in use from a really long time. But now I spoke about children, I spoke about how stories engage and all of that. But I know you will tell me, business is something to do with numbers and results. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So do you think telling stories is possible in business?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Right. So what do you think we all have to do with numbers if we have to tell a story?
Correlate the numbers.
Correlate the numbers. Okay, beautiful. Any more responses? What can we do to numbers in order to tell stories?
References, by giving references, like an
By
example.
giving, okay, references like an example. Great. Present them in pictorial form. Lovely, lovely. Yes. Creating difference through business solutions. All right. So in order to be able to tell stories with numbers, I think we'll have to watch a small video to understand how we can make numbers look interesting. Allow me to present my screen. It's taking about 10 seconds. I'll show a small video to all of you and tell me how this video made numbers interesting. I'm sharing my screen. You're able to check my screen, I believe.
Yes.
The video? Yes. All right. So now, yes, I'll take some responses. How do you think this video made numbers look like?
Calculated results.
Wow. Okay.
The statistics, you can say.
Yeah, statistics. Was it easy for you to understand? Was it easy on the eye? Was it easy for the brain?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the first thing all of us have to do if we have to tell numbers, if we have to tell stories with numbers, we will have to declutter and simplify. That's what the video did, I suppose. You want to agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So it's not just about, giving it music, adding some music to it and making a video out of it, or making a picture or a pie chart or a graph. It's not just that. The actual important thing that we have to do when we have to tell a story with numbers is to declutter and to simplify. And then comes music, then comes, the visual part of it. Of course, I'm not saying visuals are not good. Visuals are definitely great, but simplifying is more important. And this is one framework we can follow if we have to tell a story with numbers and statistics. Look at this beautiful graph. You will have to narrate to people where you began. What was the situation? What were the conditions surrounding? And where did you rise up to? And what led you to rise up to that point? And where exactly did you see a fall? What led you to the downfall? So I'm saying what, right? So this what you have to always describe. And then there is a rise. And from there, how did you pick it all up? How did you again start from scratch? And what exactly did you do in order to see a rise again? So this is how you will start describing everything around you. So now I think when I say describe, I always remember this lady called Sudha Murthy of Infosys. All of us know her.
Yes.
So Sudhamurthy, I think when Infosys was taking shape, the Sudhamurthy and Narayan Murthy, they were all over the newspapers, giving interviews, telling about their journey and things like that. So I remember reading one of Sudhamurthy's interviews in one of the local newspapers as a high schooler, I believe. I do not know how old I was, but yes, I was so deeply moved and inspired by the interview. So in the interview, she said something. And I'll tell you a sentence now, and you tell me whether you find the sentence appealing or not, right? And the sentence is, it was very difficult initially. In the initial stages, it was very difficult for us to build Infosys. Do you think the sentence is appealing? Let me repeat. In the initial days of building Infosys, it was very difficult for us.
Yes.
You think the sentence is appealing, people?
Yes.
So
So
it's
when
a
I
plain
say,
sentence.
sorry?
It seems like it's a plain sentence.
Yeah. It's a plain sentence. Very difficult is very subjective. When I say very difficult, what is very difficult for you need not be very difficult for me. What is very easy for me need not be very easy for somebody else. So that's a subjective term, and that will not help you form a story. But I'll exactly tell you what Sudhamurthy said. She said, we would work for 20 hours in a day. And I was the office boy. I swept the floors. I mopped the floors. I used to go out to get supplies. Narayan Murthy would go from company to company, for fetching funds and to sell our products and services. This is exactly what she said. Now it is easy for me to realize what it all takes to, start up. How difficult it would be initially in order to get the work done. Very difficult is very subjective. When I say I swept the rooms, I became the office boy, it's very evident, very vivid. So that is storytelling for you. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So let's go forward. Let's dive deeper and let's see, how we can construct a story. We'll see what to do and what not to do. We have a few more techniques to learn. Let me dive forward. Yeah. So when we're talking in business terms, right, it's all about making decisions. We make a lot of decisions on a daily basis. Yes or no? So let's say you have two candidates to pick for a role. So these two candidates are they are standing on the same level. They have scored the best in the written test and they've scored the best in the interview. They have a great experience. They have great educational qualifications. Both of them, they're just weighing equal with numbers. Their numbers are all just the same, right? But if you had to zero in on one person for the role, how would you pick? How would you pick? I said they're just the same, education wise, experience wise, test results wise, everything. The numbers are just the same. Those are not helping you pick the candidate anyway. So how will you pick that one person from two?
Well, I'll ask like what value could you bring to us basically? Why should we choose you over the other?
Mm-hmm.
And the best one, based on the answers, I'll choose the best one.
Right. I'm taking more responses on the chat box. Analytical capabilities, somebody said.
Instead of
how confident he is able to handle the issues.
Kya baat hai? Somebody said confidence. Lovely, lovely. So I'll ask one question. So do you all have any framework or a template that you use to measure confidence right in the interview?
No, based on the communication we judge.
Yeah. Based on the observation, you find somebody confident and you're going to zero in on that person. So if I have to give one more word, I would say attitude.
Yes.
Yes, attitude is something that appeals to your emotions, and we don't have frameworks to measure attitude right in the interview, right? So let me now tell you this simple fact. There is something called decision science, and decision science says that all the decisions are made based on emotions, be it Colgate versus Pepsodent, right? Or any other decision, car A versus car B, candidate A versus candidate B, toothpaste A versus toothpaste B, restaurant A versus restaurant B. Whenever there is choice to be made, it is your emotional side of your brain that is heavier, that is active. So you will go for that option which is emotionally closer to you. This is decision science, and this is something that people in business have to understand. And let me assert, stories always connect to people emotionally. Now I think I have built the foundation strong. The need why we should tell a lot of stories, because they appeal to people emotionally, and people make decisions based on emotions. Going forward, I'll tell you one more little experience that I recently had to experience. So I went to a shop, an electronics store, and there was this sales boy. I asked him for a pair of headphones, the headset that we used to, listen to music and do the online video conference and things like that. So I said, I want something that is light on the head and light on the pocket. This is what I told him, right? And he immediately told me one line, the regular line that salespeople tell the buyers if they don't have the product. Any guesses?
Well, he'll show me the other product and he'll say this is the best one.
Okay.
What we are looking for.
Nice guess. Any more guesses? So the product that I wanted, he didn't have.
With the quality, they would actually try to convince the consumer or the customer, saying that this one is light in head, and then the price would not be as per your expectations. So
right.
Somehow technology and try to convince basically with their sales and marketing technique or something.
Right, you're guessing right. I'll tell you what he exactly said. He said, madam, you will not find this piece anywhere in the market. The piece that I'm looking for, he said, it is not there in the market. People are not manufacturing it anymore. So I said, and then he immediately said, but I can give you something that is closest to what you want. I said, okay, show me. And then he came up with one piece of this thing, the headphones, and I didn't quite like it because it was exactly the opposite of what I described. And then he pulled out a paper. On the paper was written the discount percentage. Madam, this is running on 30% discount, please take it. See, if that is a product I wanted, I would have taken it with full price. That was not the product I wanted. Why will I take it with discount? Why will I add more to the electronic clutter that's already there in my home, right? So I was in thinking mode. And this fellow came up with the poorest of all sales pitches to convince me. Any guesses? Let me remind you.
Is, the discount is valid only for today.
Okay, very well guessed. You are a great observer, I must say.
We will give you one additional free gift along with this product.
Okay, well tried. More responses, please.
They offer additional discount for you.
Okay, additional discount. Well, let me tell you,
Service.
he said, yeah.
Service level, actually, we'll give the best service.
Okay, best service, warranty, right? All good guesses. But he told me, madam, I'm using the same piece, you take it. That's exactly what he said. Now, my question is, if he is able to become the credibility factor for me, he will not be the salesman, he will be the brand ambassador of the company, yes or no? Yeah?
Yes.
That is the emotional connect that he wants to make, or a trust building factor.
Yeah. So, but yeah, sorry?
He says, like, I am with you.
Yeah, he tried to do that. I'm using it, you take it. My point is very clear. Why are companies spending a lot on Shah Rukh Khan, Mahesh Babu, Farah Khan, whatever Babu? Why are they spending crores of money? If salesman can be the brand ambassador, every salesman will be the brand ambassador, no? I'm using it, you use it. It is working well. So in terms of storytelling, the moral that I'm trying to draw here is, I is a bad place to begin a story. I like it, you will like it. I am doing it, you can do it, right? That is a bad place to begin any story. Here, I think building a common ground is very important. So when I say building a common ground, I will take you back to the grandmom story. Grandmom told the child, do you want to make a difference to the world? And the boy said yes or no.
Yes.
He said yes. That is exactly what all the storytellers must do. You should get the opposite party say yes to you. Then it becomes easy for you to sell your idea, to sell your product, or to sell your service, and to craft a story. You should be able to make them nod to you. So here, this person would have highlighted the features of the product he has in his hand. That would have made a better story for me. That would have connected with the needs that I have. And then maybe I would have been convinced. He said, I'm using it, you use it. I walked out of the shop. So yes, the moral here is, I is not a great place to start a story. You have to highlight the features of your idea, product, service. Just because you are proposing it, it is not that the opposite party will take it. Going forward. So yes, I is not a great place going forward. There is this beautiful movie called Bahubali. You all watched this one?
Yes.
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 So I'll tell you a scene from this story, right? So there was this Kalakeya killing contest that Rajamata Shivagami Devi conducted to decide the king for the land. Finally, it is Rana that kills Kalakeya, right? But Bahubali becomes the king. Prabhas becomes the king. Why?
Because Prabhas is a hero.
Very smart answer. Okay, emotionally connected. Okay. Any guesses? There's a scene shown. Yeah, please.
He was the one who pressed the right nerve, like he saved people, and that's what connected emotionally everyone. So probably.
Superb. So here, very well said. There was a scene that shows Prabhas saving people and, trying to kill the enemies. He also saved people. But whereas there was another scene which showed us that Rana killed people and captured the enemy, right? So Rajmata saw two different worlds. The world in which Rana is the king and the world in which Prabhas is the king. She saw the world with Rana as the king, full of violence, and the people are unhappy. And she saw the world with Prabhas as the king, and people are happy. So naturally, she said, the quality of a king is to serve its people, to save the people of the kingdom. So I'm going to give this crown to Prabhas. That's what she decided. That is exactly what all the storytellers must understand, creating a contrast. The contrast between two worlds. The world without my idea, product, service, how will it look like? The world with my idea, product, and service, how will it look like? And you should be able to put that in words. So if Shivagami Devi had to go campaign today, in today's democratic kind of a system, she would go on streets telling that people will be happy with Bahubali as a king. That is exactly what all of us will do. Create contrast between two worlds. And it is in the hands of the audience to decide which world they want to go into. Creating a contrast. Going forward, one more little idea that I'd like to share. There was this restaurant, American restaurant called Chipotle. They were also very interested in idea marketing and, visual marketing, social media marketing. So what they did, it's a Mexican grill restaurant in US. So they ran a social media campaign called the Scarecrow, right? So here, this was a video in which this animated thing, the little scarecrow, goes to the city, right? It's looks for work, and the scarecrow goes into a factory where a lot of killing is happening. That's a food factory. Chickens are injected with hormones, and beef is slaughtered. All of that is shown in the video. So the scarecrow gets really disheartened, and it comes back. Oh my God, I can't work in that factory. It's so horrifying. It thinks to itself, and it looks at the farm that it's living on. So the farm is just very happy. All the animals are happily roaming here and there. The food is growing. It's all healthy, organic, happy. So what the scarecrow does, it takes vegetables from the farm, goes to the city, and sells the food. With this kind of a video, what this restaurant was trying to tell the audience is that they sell organic food. They are not using hormones, and they're not using, they're not slaughtering and things like that. It's not all machine made. It's not full of violence. It's all organic. That's what, that's what Chipotle wanted to tell the public. But this story was criticized by a lot of people. It was very popular campaign, but it was not taken by the public. Why do you think? Any guesses?
Because that would turn into hatred for people, like people who are eating non-veg, maybe.
Okay, could be. Decent guess.
Maybe the way of explanation.
They want
contrary to reality.
Contrary to
Reality.
Okay.
They want to popularize the positivity with the help of negative threats.
Nice. Good guess.
I think in the title of the campaign itself, there is a scare, right? They might scare.
No.
I think
Interesting.
people did not like the negativity.
Okay, I'll tell you now. I'll try and give some clues to you. I clearly said the scarecrow took vegetables from the farm, no? You all remember me say that? But look at the logo of Chipotle. What do you think this sells? What kind of food Chipotle is selling? Is it selling vegetarian or non-vegetarian? What do Americans eat? Are there a lot of vegetarians or non-vegetarians in the US?
It's non-vegetarian, and I think they might be selling beef, I guess. Meat.
Exactly. The point here is Chipotle sells meat. It sells meat that is grown organically. The animals are grown organically. But in the video, what they showed was the scarecrow actually sold vegetables. They're not selling vegetables. They're selling meat only. Rearing meat in the farm or in the factory doesn't matter. It's still not energy efficient. So that's the reason people had a lot of hatred. You are selling lice. That's what they said. Your scarecrow is selling vegetables, you are selling meat. And though you are rearing all the animals on the farm, it is still not energy efficient. How can you call yourself a sustainable company and things like that? So the point here is there was brutal lies in this video. So if your story is not telling the truth, if your story is just the opposite of the truth, it will not stand. Though you are making it very appealing, you have to still tell the truth. In the form of making, in the idea of making a story, if you quickly weave in lies, you will be caught and the story will not stand for a long time. That is the thing here. Going forward. So remember this guy, the video? 90s kids. Who's this person?
Sachin
Tendulkar, okay.
Sachin.
Okay. So I'll show you what this thing is. Remember?
Who's to the secret of my energy?
Right. The ad, I think I'll remind all of you. Sachin comes, he works out in a gym, or I don't remember whether it was a gym or it could be a stadium. He works out, then he hits sixes after sixes. He's not tired at all. At the end, he comes and drinks Boost and he lifts the cup and says, Boost is the secret of my energy. He can simply hold that packet, no, and say, drink Boost, you will get energy. Why all drama?
Because he want to show that I am drinking it and see, I am not getting tired and all. So even if you drink the same, you will also perform like me.
Super, well said. You said Sachin wanted to show. That's exactly what all of us also have to do. We are not stating anything explicitly. We are showing people. We are not telling, we are showing, we are narrating. Showing can happen both video-wise and also verbally. When you narrate, it helps people visualize. If you just state, it's not very credible. People will not trust. So Sachin is showing, every other advertisement is showing people what happens when you do a particular product. Now let me ask you, there's one more product, Horlicks Women's Plus or something. You all remember what concept? Can Sachin do this? He plays full day and comes at the end of the video. He says, Horlicks is the secret of my energy. And all women drink Horlicks. Do you think that
No,
happens?
that is wrong audience targeting is there. So we need to find the right folks who can, let us deep dive into that particular audience.
Awesome. That is exactly what you said, knowing your audience. So the Horlicks ad looks something like this. A middle-aged woman, she goes to work in the morning. She works the whole day. She comes home, she cleans home, and then she starts cooking. And the end of the day, she says, drink Horlicks, and that's the secret of my energy. And then Horlicks sales will boost. So knowing the audience is very important. So in order to be able to make a great story, I think we have to improve vocabulary. I'm not talking about just about verbal, the vocabulary, the words, the language, visual vocabulary, the tools that you want to use, the strategy that you want to use. All of this is just a vocabulary. And don't aim to reach this guy. This guy is actually beyond the human capabilities. So please don't try and imitate. Look at this message. We'll have to reach out to a dictionary to be able to understand. Again, there's one more lesson. If you make your story very complicated, people won't understand. It has to be simple. Your vocabulary has to be rich. Your story has to be vivid, yet simple. That's one thing. So now that we've been listening to do's and don'ts of storytelling from a long time, I think I'll give you all a quick exercise, okay? I'll bring two characters for you, and you will tell me a beautiful story with those two characters. Ready? I'll take you. Who are these?
Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol.
Don't tell me. These are Raj and Simran. What?
Yeah, Raj and Simran.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So yeah, tell me the story of Raj and Simran, one of you. You have to be really brief.
Two strangers who met in a train and were not comfortable with each other, but the boy fell for the girl. Then they went out to, they were traveling in Germany, and both fell in love gradually, and then they end up trying to convince girls' parents to get married. And in the end, they just get married.
Okay. But you didn't follow the instruction. I said you have to tell me a story with these two characters, and you said parents.
The train
Okay.
thing.
See, the point
So
is
they basically wanted to be together, and in the end, they both were together.
Well, I did a little bit of foul play here. Not just you, not just Karan Johar, not just Sanjay Leela Bhansali, not just Rajamouli. Nobody on earth can ever tell a story without
a villain.
Without a conflict. And here, I'll bet now, just go look into books, refer the names of the movies. Tell me a story where, girl loves boy, boy loves girl, and story over. Any film like that? Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, German, Korean.
Does that mean that there can be stories where there is no conflict, or?
I'm asking you, can you spot such a story where there is no papa saying no?
A Walk to Remember.
Okay.
A Walk to Remember.
Right. Do you think there's no conflict in A Walk to Remember?
It's not about conflict. Yeah, but the scenario is different.
Yeah, exactly. Be it a person or a thing, an inanimate object also can become a conflict point. A situation can become a conflict point. My point here is a story will not stand strong without a strong conflict point. It does not exist only. People will not like it. People will walk out of the theater. Similarly, your audience will not like your story. And that, I think, is also one of the unique selling propositions of this person called Rajamouli, who has been making a lot of high-faring films.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. He builds the character of the villain, and he makes hero very small in front of him or her. And then this hero will go and fight with that fellow, and finally he'll emerge as the winner. That is his unique selling proposition. Agree, disagree?
I agree.
Yes. So that is exactly what is important, even in business storytelling. You have to make the conflict point seem very, very vivid to the listeners. Your conflict point has to be clear. So this is the story arc, your setup, your context, your characters, that is the base. And then you go on and show people the conflict, and then you bring them to the resolution. Not just films, not just business stories, not just novels or whatever. Every other story follows the same structure. So now you can ask me, you're talking about stories. Where do you think we'll get all the stories from? Where do you think you can get the stories from? And how can you build the story bank?
Reading books.
Reading
Books.
Yes.
Personal experiences.
Awesome. Experiences.
Normal day-to-day life or
day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So observing is very important. Please observe yourself, observe the people around you, observe the happenings, observe what's happening in your industry, what's happening in the market. All of these will help you create a story bank. You can talk about a time when you succeeded, and you can use all the principles to craft a beautiful story, or a time you failed. Somebody, a mentor, you can talk about how this mentor changed your life, and how a movie, a book, or an event, whatever, changed some things, your thought process, added value, and all of that. Now, I know a lot of you will have a problem with the failure. What? You want us to tell failure stories? Then I will remind you all of this person called Jack Ma. Remember? What does Jack Ma tell the world? He tells about how he began from scratch, how he was rejected.
Too many times.
Yeah, how he failed and failed and failed, and how he ultimately tasted success. Any video, any article about Jack Ma will begin by talking about his failures. That's very
yeah, but but that's the human behavior that nobody wants to talk about their failures.
Exactly.
No, but I think nowadays failure is getting more, selling topic.
Because
I have
nowadays
seen, I
people are
follow a lot
actually,
of content.
It is
Yes.
becoming
yeah,
USP.
no,
Yeah.
because these days people are more generous about accepting the challenges as well as learning from the failures that
Challenges.
they
Lovely.
want to share. That's they want to share in
Yes.
front of other people's.
People are
Yes.
putting taglines on LinkedIn saying 3 startup failed. So I believe that, failing is something people are wearing as a crown nowadays. And because
Yeah,
now
exactly.
people know how much efforts it takes to, even get to
Lovely.
a stage where you are calling yourself, that I failed in this.
Lovely.
There is a
Yeah,
learning
because
curve, a steep
we've
curve
all
where
grown up in such a way where we have seen our parents, and they just were telling us to succeed, succeed, succeed. And then this is something which has got into our heads that, okay,
Yes.
success is good and failure is bad. Now the
Yes.
things are turning, I would say.
Learning. I'll tell you, I'll give you a quick response. So if you are stopping with failure, I think a lot of people will not listen to you. You need to have real heart to go and learn from people who failed. But you will just not stop your story with your failure. Following, you will also tell how you have come back. What exactly did you do in order to come back? How did you try the efforts? And now Jack Ma is still not a failure. He succeeded. He fell again. Then he succeeded. So this is something that makes an interesting story. And then there's this popular quote on internet which says, nobody pays heed to a poor philosopher. You'll remember. So if you're stopping your story with failure, I think you will not have a lot of audience. It becomes very difficult for you to sell your point. But you have to tell people how you made a comeback. What are the efforts? What is the process? And that will make an interesting story. Going forward, stories are not just used to persuade people. You can use narratives to manage conflicts within your team and to interpret the past by making it look like a story and taking some takeaway from the past experiences to shape the future in order to show your vision to your team, to the people around you, to the clients, to the prospects. I think all of this you can use narratives. You can bring the data in the past, you can wrap it in the form of a story and present it. Followed by, there's this person, Elon Musk, you know him?
Yes.
This is exactly what he does. He follows the same idea, the story arc. He begins, by describing something, a problem, and he makes it look very terrifying. He takes us forward. He tells us if the situation is as it is, what is going to happen. And then finally, he says that he has a solution for this and he can make the life better for people. And that is his selling point. You can go watch videos in YouTube. There is a lot about Tesla and all of that.
the same thing he did with Twitter also.
Yeah.
Told everyone that there is a problem with, how people are actually using social media and all. And
Yes.
then eventually end up, the solution is I will buy it and solve it for you guys.
Yeah, and he did that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of buzz in the media very recently about that, the Indian person, what's his name? Parag Agarwal,
Parag
replacing him as
Agarwal.
CEO and things like that. Yes. Anyway, we'll go forward. I think here I have an interesting story to show you. Now you're all saying, you might ask me, it's a process to build a story. It's difficult, or, people don't have time and people think that we are boring them and things like that. It is not that you will have to narrate stories narrate long stories. Stories can be told in a short fashion also. There was this person, anybody, this person to the next of Steve Jobs?
Bill Gates.
Okay. His name is John Scully. Any idea? So John Scully was working for PepsiCo. He was one of the top executives with PepsiCo. He was doing absolutely fine. He was known to be one of the greatest strategists of PepsiCo, and naturally Jobs wanted him with Apple, right? So in order to convince him, what do you think Jobs would have told John Scully? Any guesses?
He said that, do you want to sell Pepsi or you want to sell something which people are dying for, like something innovation?
Yeah, beautiful. You have theoretically put it really well. I'll show you something. I think the first line I'll tell you, I'll ask you to guess the next line, okay? The first line of his story was, do you want to sell colored water for the rest of your life? That's the
Or do
first
you
thing.
want to sell something which improves life of people?
Awesome. Yes.
Or do you want to sell something which colors the people's life?
Yes. He said, do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to come with me and change the world? So now the decision lies with John Scully. And then he must have thought, oh my God, have I been selling colored water all my life? Am I happy with this? And then he moved to Apple. He stayed with Apple until he retired. He was one of the top executives with Apple, high paid and things like that. You can go see his story on the web. So that's how you can tell impactful stories, even in a short fashion. That's the beauty of storytelling. Going forward, if you have to begin by, begin with storytelling at some point, there's something called story spine. All of us have stories. So if you use this format, I think it becomes easy for us to craft a story with just the experiences that we have. For example, let us say you are going to tell somebody that you are a strong team, a team that is well connected, or a team that is let's say you trust each other and things like that. So these are blunt statements, right? We are a strong team, we trust each other, we are well connected. These are all statements. Storytelling is not about stating, it's about narrating. So now I think I'll give you all a little task. There's this beginning, once upon a time. Once upon a time is a little too dramatic. So we'll go to the second one, every day. Okay, that is your cue. Your task is to show people how strong a team you are. And the cue for you is every day. Are the instructions clear?
So we have to see the pictorials to depict the story, is it?
Not really, not really. You have to narrate, verbally narrate. Use the word called every day and tell people how strong a team you are. So to simplify it further, you will have to simply tell us what you all do every day, what you all do together. As simple as that.
Every day we discuss about the challenges that we have or the deadlines that we need to meet.
Yes. You all discuss that every day. Beautiful. Any more everyday statements?
Every day we discuss new ideas.
You discuss new ideas. Beautiful.
Every day we go out for some tea break, coffee break, and have fun.
Superb. We go for a tea break together every day. Lovely. Any more everyday statements? Strong teams out there? Responses, please.
No, we are actually at our homes, so we are not taking coffee breaks.
Every day we have meetings.
Yeah. We do a stand-up call every day in the morning. So the point here is you are not just stating things bluntly, you are narrating everything. You're just showing them what you exactly do. So the picture is vivid and they will decide how strong a team you are. And they will decide what they can expect from you, the listeners, the audience. Followed by, I'm going to the next level, the event and the middle. But one day something happened. And because of that, this is how we fell. Or this is how, it made a change to our lives. This is how it impacted us badly, or this is how it impacted us for the better. And then finally, something came to change the status quo. And till date, we have not looked back. And this is how you construct a story. You narrate everything. You just tell people what exactly happened. That is a story spine for you. And this is a spine people use to make films, to write novels, to write stories. to again do business storytelling, to do data storytelling. There is a lot of interesting information available in the web about data storytelling. You might as well want to check out a few pictures. Like I said earlier, data storytelling is not just about pictures, graphs, and pie charts. It's about simplifying and decluttering the data. Not all data is required by all of them. Who needs what? Who am I presenting the data to? What is the data that they need? How can I simplify it? Just like the video simplified the numbers to us by calling the number of people living in the world equal to 100. So then it became easy for us. And that is exactly what businesses do. We use percentages. Percentages make the life simple. And the video at the end said, one person is controlling 50% of the money, meaning in real world terms, 1% of the people in the world are controlling 50% of the money. So that made it simple for us. And data storytelling is something that's trending, something that's making businesses easy for people who are doing. And if you want to try, I think I will suggest you all to check out data storytelling videos on the web going forward. So this is again a structure. First thing that you will all do in order to craft a story, even before crafting a story, is to choose who your audience is. Who am I telling the story to, right? And that will change the form, the shape, the length, everything of the story, depending on the audience. And then what is the message that I'm giving my audience? What is the data that I'm giving to them? What is important for them? What matters to them? That's the second thing you will decide. And the third thing is the conflict point. In one of the sessions that I was doing, there was a participant who spoke about how they have overcome this villain called sudden calls from the client, right? Can that become a conflict point?
Yes.
Yeah, you have your own daily calls, you have your own daily duties, and suddenly the client comes with a call. He wants 1 hour or more from your schedule. So that is the conflict point. He took that as a conflict point and he narrated a story around it. How they made sure that their lives are not disrupted because of these, sudden client calls. So what are the other conflict points you all can think of to narrate a successful story? You should be able to also tell us how you overcame that little conflict. If you look into your lives, you will find a lot of conflict points that you would have successfully overcome. Any ideas you all want to share with us? Too many Zoom calls? That's one conflict. And how we manage to, how we can manage to run the show even without a lot of Zoom calls, that can become your story. And how you saved a lot of time for your team. That's a successful story. Anything you want to share? All right. I just shared two things. One is client calls and the second one, too many Zoom calls, followed by the next. Just a second. Yes. This is another structure you can follow. If you have to market something, if you have to sell something, what is the current state of my audience? What is my product service? How can it benefit them? What do they need to do in order to, buy my product or, use my product? Where will they reach if they use my product or service? This is another format you can use if you think you want to tell a story for selling something or for persuading someone to buy your product or service. That's a wrap. That's an end of today's session about storytelling. And these are a few resources if you might want to check. Made to Stick is a book written by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. So it talks a lot about how you can create ideas that stand. There are some ideas which fail and there are some ideas which succeed. So this book talks about how you can make ideas that will stand. And the last one, if you see, the last one in the acronym is yes, that stands for stories. So how can you tell stories in order to persuade people to buy your idea, product, service? If you want to pursue storytelling just as a hobby, these are two places you can go to. Tape a Tale, there's a website and there's a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to them. Look at the number of subscribers. 23 lakh is huge. They're very popular. And people from all over India or maybe all over the world, they come there and they share their stories. And there are videos of people sharing their stories, both personal and professional. And the next one, this is based out of Hyderabad. I can personally tell you because I have attended some of their sessions. I think these storytelling club, it happens at Shilparamam and Lamakan. So Telltellers Troop India, it's absolutely free. If you think you want to pursue storytelling as a hobby, you can find them on the web. I think they're available in an app called Meetup. So these are some sources for you. All right, so that's the wrap. Thank you so much for attending today's session. If you all have any questions, I'll be happy to take. No questions? All right, I'm taking that for a no. And thank you so much for joining today's session. Have a happy weekend. And please do attend a lot of other learning calendar sessions. I'll see you in some other session. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening and a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.